Hello everyone and welcome to my CS24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Curse of Oak Island. A new stone feature could confirm Templar Knights built Nolan's cross and buried treasure. The Curse of Oak Island team has begun excavating a new, human-made circular stone feature in the swamp near Nolan's cross, which could be the spot where ancient Christian relics are buried. This week's episode started with disappointment. The rehabilitation and excavation of the garden shaft was the primary focus of this season, but has been plagued with problems. Dumas representatives informed Rick Lagina and the guys that approximately 479 gallons of seawater were currently gushing into the shaft, and pumping out such a quantity of water would make the whole structure unstable. That means the project is on hold while the Dumas miners figure out what is the best option. Unfortunately, we are careering toward the end of the season, which sadly means that could be the end of the project for Season 11. Thankfully, the guys have plenty to keep them occupied, and they've switched focus to the discovery of a mysterious, human-made stone circle found on the northern edge of the triangle-shaped swamp. The team was digging in this area because researcher John Edwards argued that the nearby boulders of Nolan's cross were acting as a marker for the spot. John suspects the Ark of the Covenant and possibly other ancient Christian artifacts taken from Jerusalem are buried there. So, it obviously came as a pleasant shock to find a circular depression or pit framed by small flat stones on the exact spot John referenced. Oak Island guys hope to link the new stone feature to the 13th century. Geoscientist Dr. Ian Spooner stated the blindingly obvious. The structure was human-made and was created before the area was a swamp. This lends yet more credence to the theory that the swamp was artificially created to hide something. Ian took some core samples from the area, but we'll have to wait, hopefully not long, for the results. Surveyor Steve Guptill was also on hand to measure the area. A preliminary measurement indicated the structure was a couple of feet below sea level and was at the exact same elevation as the paved area to the south. Ian has previously dated the paved area back to the 1200s AD, so it would be incredibly significant if a solid link could be established between the two features. If the new stone circle could be dated to the 13th century, that would link it to other features such as Nolan's cross, and aid the theory that Templar Knights did bury artifacts on the island. Marty Lagina noted how all the theorists and researchers in recent times seem to be focusing on Nolan's cross, and that, just maybe, it could be the key to the whole mystery. Right now, the guys need to figure out the timeline of this new structure. Once they know when it was built, they can link it to other features such as Nolan's cross, which could then lead to an excavation. Oak Island team is heading to Europe to hunt for info on Templar Knights. Also, on last night's show, the guys continued to search for evidence that the Templars traveled to Oak Island from Jerusalem. With that in mind, they enlisted the help of researchers Corjan Mole and Emiliano Sechetto, who claim to have found an old Templar hiding place in a castle in the Netherlands that features symbols also found on Oak Island. Emiliano has located an old Cistercian abbey in Milan, Italy, that contains ancient manuscripts on astronomy, geometry, and navigation, which may help to explain how Templar Knights could have traveled to Oak Island 300 years before Columbus's voyage. A member of the Cistercian order reportedly founded the Templars. All this means that Rick and a chosen lucky few will be heading to Italy and the Netherlands. We will likely see how their trip went in the next few episodes. The mid-morning sun slanted through the canopy of oak trees, casting fragmented light over the clearing where the latest find had stopped the Lagina brothers in their tracks. In an area just east of Nolan's cross, long thought to be one of Oak Island's most mysterious and deliberate constructions, Rick, Marty, and the team stood around a cluster of moss-covered stones, their weathered surfaces emerging from centuries of soil and roots. It wasn't just their size or placement that made the team's breath catch, it was the geometry. Surveyor Steve Guptill had been the first to notice the anomaly. "When I mapped the GPS coordinates," he said, crouched low with his tablet in hand, "I realized these stones form a perfect arc that aligns directly with the arm of Nolan's cross." He tapped the screen, and a bright overlay appeared, a curve that, when extended, formed a near-perfect circle encompassing the original cross. This isn't random glacial deposit. Someone designed this. Archaeologist Miriam Amaral stepped closer, brushing away a thin layer of damp earth from one of the stones. The surface bore faint chisel marks, straight, deliberate, and utterly out of place in the natural granite. "These are tool-made," she said, "and based on the style we could be looking at medieval stone-cutting techniques. 14th century, maybe earlier." Rick's eyes met Marty's, the silent, understanding passing between them as it had so many times before. Another piece was falling into place, and it might connect Oak Island to one of history's most enduring legends. The Knights Templar. Echoes of the past. For years, Nolan's Cross, a massive stone cross formation discovered decades ago by landowner Fred Nolan, had fueled theories of Templar involvement. The symmetrical alignment of its arms, the precision of its construction, and its inexplicable placement on a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia had all seemed too calculated to be coincidence. And now this new arc of stones appeared to act as a boundary or marker that could redefine the purpose of the cross entirely. The Templars were known for using sacred geometry, Miriam explained, her gloved hands tracing the weathered edge of a stone. Circles, crosses, triangulations, they weren't just designs, they were maps. And if this arc was part of a larger geometric layout, Nolan's Cross could have been more than a monument. It could have been the key to locating a hidden vault. Jack Begley let out a low whistle. A vault where they stored what? Gold? Relics? The Ark of the Covenant. Gary Drayton, never one to hide his enthusiasm, grinned and adjusted his metal detector strap. Or all of the above, mate. You don't go to all this trouble for a couple of coins. This is big game treasure. Following the geometry, Steve proposed that they map the ark's full extent before disturbing any stones. Using LiDAR data from previous scans and fresh drone footage, they began plotting every visible and buried marker. Within hours, the pattern emerged, an almost perfect semicircle that intersected Nolan's Cross at its western arm. More startlingly, when Steve extended the geometry in his software, the curve intersected another known anomaly. The location where the team had previously detected high concentrations of gold in the water near the Money Pit area. "This could be a perimeter," Steve said, tapping the screen. "A boundary that marks where the treasure is buried. The cross in the center, the arc as a compass line. If you were following Templar mapping practices, this layout could lead you directly to the deposit."